If money talks in your life feel, I don't know, stressful, awkward, or maybe like they always end up turning into a fight, just take a deep breath. We want you to know right now, this deep dive is absolutely for you.
It really is. We see this communication roadblock, every single day. People make this mistake of thinking that money is, a purely logistical or mathematical topic.
Right, just numbers on a page.
Exactly. And it's not. It is, without question, the single most emotionally loaded topic we navigate within our closest relationships.
And that's exactly why we're here today. Our whole mission is to build you a communications toolkit for what we're calling zero drama conversations about finances.
Yeah.
We want to give you the shortcut to being well-informed, not necessarily about budgeting, but about how to talk about the budget. We're talking practical tools, frameworks, and, actual scripts you can use.
And this applies to everyone, your partner, your family, your roommate, even that friend who keeps suggesting, expensive plans you can't really afford. We have to start, though, by just acknowledging the baseline behavior. When a money issue comes up, most people, they default to one of two modes. And, well, both are deeply destructive.
Okay, what are they?
They either explode into fighting, accusations, anger, blame, or they just resort to total avoidance. Silence.
And neither one fixes anything, right? Which is why the problem just keeps coming back around.
That's it. The explosive fight, that creates immediate damage. You say things you regret, you build up resentment.
For sure.
But the silence, that avoidance, creates this distance over time. The root issue never gets fixed, and the anxiety just, it festers.
So if you're listening and you feel that wave of panic or shame just thinking about bringing up the credit card statement,
we want to validate that right away. You are not weird, you are not alone, and that reaction does not mean you are bad at relationships.
It just means you were never given the tools.
You were never given the language or the emotional structure to manage this. It's a deeply heavy topic. We just don't learn this stuff in school.
That's the core thing we have to get across. Before we can even offer tools, we have to understand why the conversation feels so heavy. Why does a $50 difference on a bill suddenly feel like a threat to your entire future?
Because money is never just about the money. It's fundamentally tied to our deepest instincts.
Like what?
Our sense of safety, both physical and emotional, our identity, our ability to feel in control of our own lives. And so critically, all those unresolved experiences we absorbed as kids.
So every time you open the conversation, you're risking touching on some old sensitive wound.
Exactly. And those wounds, those beliefs, they come together to form what we call your money story.
Your money story.
Yeah. Think of it like an internal script. A belief system that dictates what money actually means to you. And you learned it by watching the dynamics in your family.
Right, so maybe you saw your parents fighting over bills all the time, so you learned money equals conflict.
Or you saw one parent use money as a tool for power. So you learned money is about control or dependence.
Or maybe the script was just constant scarcity, no matter how much you had, it was never, ever enough.
Or the opposite, the topic was just taboo. Too rude, too embarrassing to ever discuss.
Yeah.
So you learned avoidance is the only way.
And these stories, they become unconscious rules that we live by.
They do. And here's the real source of the conflict. When money comes up today, that unexpected bill or a spouse is spending, people think they're fighting about that specific dollar amount.
But they're not.
They are not. They're actually fighting about that entire stored history. They're fighting about fear, about shame, about power, about not wanting to repeat what their parents did. The bill is just the trigger.
It's the pin on the emotional grenade.
That's a perfect way to put it. So to manage all this, we need structure. Today, we're going to define the causes of the drama, identify the money personalities that always seem to clash, set some ground rules for safety, and then give you actual scripts and a framework to use.
Okay, let's unpack the causes then. Because the moment you understand the why, I feel like the personal blame and all the shame that comes with it, it just starts to fade a little.
It does.
We need to understand the psychology here, not just the math. Why do these conversations always seem to escalate so fast?
Right. This is where we have to bridge psychology and finance.
Yeah.
There are really 4 core reasons for this escalation, and they're all deeply behavioral. Let's start with the big one. The one that dictates whether a conversation can even happen rationally.
And that is?
Reason 1, emotional unsafety and the nervous system.
Okay.
When you approach your partner with, hey, we need to talk about the budget, it almost never lands as a neutral request.
No. It sounds like an accusation.
It does. If there's any history of judgment there, their nervous system hears, I am about to be judged or humiliated or told I'm irresponsible.
So their survival instincts just kick in instantly.
Immediately. The prefrontal cortex, that's the logical planning part of the brain, the budgeting brain, it just goes offline. And the amygdala, the emotional center, takes over. That's the physiological mechanism behind fight, flight, or freeze. Shame, especially financial shame, it registers in the body as actual physical danger.
So you can't access your rational budgeting skills if you feel blamed. You're just in self-defense mode.
You're purely in self-defense mode. And it's a critical insight. When someone yells back or just shuts down completely, they're not necessarily trying to be difficult. Their brain has just decided that survival is more important than cooperation right now.
Which is often compounded by the second reason, I'm guessing?
Yes. Reason 2, power dynamics. Very, very quickly, even between two equal adults, this parent-child dynamic emerges.
Oh, yeah. One person becomes the responsible one.
The budget police, the spreadsheet owner.
Right. And the other person gets cast as the child or the problem, and that is so triggering.
It's incredibly triggering. And let's look at the hidden fears in both roles. The person who becomes the budget police, they are secretly terrified.
They're carrying the whole mental load.
The whole thing. They feel isolated. And they're thinking, if I don't obsessively track every penny, we're going to fail. And that terror makes their communication style become, demanding or harsh.
Which then triggers the defensiveness in the other person.
And that person, the one in the child role, feels like their autonomy is being threatened. They're thinking, I am an adult. I work hard. Why am I being lectured constantly?
So their resistance, like secret spending or avoidance, it isn't even about the money.
Not at all. It's a desperate attempt to protect their own sense of dignity from what feels like control.
So the money talk just becomes a fight for control and identity.
You've got it. Which brings us to reason 3, topic overload. This is a simple logistical mistake, but it kills conversations. People try to mix 5 or 6 huge arguments into one.
The emotional junk drawer.
Exactly.
We've all done it. You start talking about the utility bill, and suddenly you're arguing about credit card debt from 3 years ago, and your mother-in-law's bad advice, and whether you'll ever retire.
The brain just isn't equipped for that. It's an instant cognitive shutdown. You have to learn to focus on one thing.
Okay, so what's the last one?
And finally, reason 4, lack of scripts and tools. It really just boils down to a modeling problem.
We repeat what we saw. If our parents fought, we fight. If they avoided, we avoid.
That's it. We default to the emotional language we learned growing up because we don't have any healthier scripts preloaded. We have to proactively load those tools into our toolkit.
So, to bring that all together, when you say, let's talk about money, you and your partner might be in 2 completely different emotional rooms.
Yes. For the planner, the talk means, yay, clarity and control.
But for the person who's prone to shame, it means, oh no, I'm about to be humiliated.
And that misalignment of emotional realities is why creating safety through structure is the only way forward.
Okay, so let's get deeper into those internal scripts, the money stories. You said they're often unconscious, which sounds like a huge part of the problem.
It is. We act them out without even realizing where they came from. And these stories, they directly shape our financial personalities.
So if a listener, say, grew up in a family that lost everything, their story might be, money is unstable and you have to hoard it.
Absolutely. And that person will likely develop a very specific financial personality as an adult.
Versus someone who grew up watching their parents save every penny and never have any fun.
Right. Their story might be, money is for enjoying life now because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And that leads to a totally different set of behaviors.
Which brings us to the 6 common money personalities that often clash. Let's define them so people can start to see themselves and their partners.
Okay, first up we have the saver. For them, safety is directly tied to their bank balance. They get a genuine sense of comfort from seeing those numbers go up.
And they feel real anxiety when it drops, even a little.
Intense anxiety. The opposite of them is, of course, the spender. The spender sees money as a tool for living life, for experiences, for comfort, for generosity.
They feel suffocated if it's all just locked away. They feel alive when it's moving.
That's a great way to put it. Then you have the planner. They are all about the process. They love spreadsheets, long-term goals, financial models.
Clarity is their security blanket.
It is. They need to know the destination and every single step to get there.
And their natural opposite is the wing it type.
The wing it type, yes. They prioritize flexibility. They operate on gut feeling, on optimism. They truly believe, It'll all work out somehow.
And a rigid plan feels like a cage to them.
A straitjacket. They will rebel against it. Then we also have the security-driven personality. Their relationship with money is purely defensive.
Like it's for insurance, for emergencies.
Exactly. It's for disaster prep. They're constantly getting ready for the worst-case scenario.
Which is very different from the freedom-driven type.
Very. For them, money equals options, mobility, autonomy. They want assets that let them say yes to a sudden trip or quit a job they hate. They despise feeling tied down.
And the crazy thing is how often these opposites attract. The saver ends up with the spender, the planner with the wing it type.
It's almost a universal law. And the conflict explodes because both people genuinely, sincerely believe their way is the only reasonable, sane way to live.
So the planner looks at the wing it type and sees chaos. Why are you so reckless?
And the wing it type looks at the planner and sees a control freak. Why are you so uptight? But they're both just fighting for their deepest value.
Security versus freedom.
Exactly. Which is why calling it incompatibility is a dead end. The real goal is to build a shared language, to create a plan that honors both needs.
You can have security and joy.
You can. But it starts with understanding the fear behind your partner's behavior.
So before anyone even tries to have one of these big talks, they need some self-awareness. You have an exercise for this, right? 3 questions.
3 simple but really profound questions. Each person answers them on their own, and then you calmly share the answers.
Okay, what's question 1?
Question 1 is about your origin story. What did I see and feel about money growing up? Was it stressful? Was it calm? Was it a secret? This gives context to your stress today.
Okay, and question 2.
This one exposes your core fear. What am I most afraid of when it comes to money? Is it being homeless? Is it shame? Being controlled? Losing your freedom?
That's a big one. And the last one.
And question 3 reveals your motivation. What do I wish money could ultimately do for me? This shifts the focus from anxiety to your actual hopes.
So maybe the saver really just wants freedom from worry.
And maybe the spender just wants to be able to be generous without feeling guilty.
The key here is that when you share these answers, you're not arguing. It's an act of vulnerability.
And you stop fighting about the credit card bill. You start to understand that your partner isn't trying to sabotage you. They're trying to protect themselves from a deep fear you probably didn't even know they had.
So once you have that self-awareness, you still need to build a safe container for the conversation itself. You talk about ground rules.
Yes. We have to interrupt the default chaotic pattern. And the only way to do that is with a predetermined structure. Ground rules are your safety net.
They signal to the nervous system that this isn't a trap.
Exactly. It's a planned, safe collaboration to solve a shared problem. If it feels like a trap, the brain goes into defense mode. If it feels structured and respectful, you have a chance at actually solving something.
Okay, let's go through them. What is the first non-negotiable rule?
Rule number 1 is the simplest, and it's the one people violate the most. Do not ambush schedule the talk.
You can't just spring it on someone.
Never. Not when you're angry, not when you're tired, not when they're walking in the door with groceries. Surprise is the enemy of calm communication.
So instead of that panicked, we need to talk about your spending right now.
You use a scheduling script. Something gentle but firm. Hey, I really want us to feel more on the same page. Can we set aside 30 minutes this Saturday morning, maybe around 9:30, to look at our money together?
That gives emotional notice, respects their time.
Totally. Okay, rule number 2. No you always or you never statements.
No, this is huge.
It is. These are character assassinations. They're saying the person is fundamentally flawed, and they instantly trigger defensiveness because there's no room for nuance.
So you have to replace that with what you call the I feel structure.
Right. You anchor your feeling to a specific behavior you observed, and then you state your underlying fear. So instead of, you never care about the budget, you say,
I feel anxious when we don't look at our spending together because I'm scared we'll fall behind.
Perfect. It's honest, it's not accusing, and it clearly states your need.
Okay, rule 3. This is the anti-junk drawer rule.
One topic at a time. If you try to argue about debt, retirement, and the vacation all at once, you will fail.
The brain just shuts down.
It can't handle it. You have to mutually agree on the single focus beforehand. Okay, for the next 15 minutes, we are only talking about the grocery budget. That makes success possible.
Makes sense. What's number 4?
Rule 4 requires a real mindset shift. Assume positive intent.
This is a hard one.
It is. You have to enter the conversation believing your partner is not an enemy trying to ruin you. They're a human with their own fears and blind spots, but they are fundamentally on your team.
So even if you find something that makes you angry, you start with curiosity, not accusation.
Exactly. You start with, I know you care about us, and I do too. Can we work through this together?
Okay, and the last rule?
Rule 5. Agree to a regulated pause. You have to agree ahead of time that if things get too heated, either person can call a timeout.
This is the escape hatch. But it can't just be a way to avoid the conversation forever.
That's the crucial condition. The pause must include a promise to return. I'm feeling too overwhelmed right now. I need a 10-minute break, but I promise we will come back to this at 8 o'clock.
So it's emotional first aid, not abandonment.
That's the key. It transforms the break from avoidance into a conscious choice for self-regulation and partnership.
Okay, so with those ground rules as our foundation, now we can get into the actual framework, the 4 simple steps for any money conversation.
Right. And it has to be simple. Because when your emotions are high, your brain can't handle complexity. It needs quick, memorable steps.
Let's walk through them and really break down the psychology of why each step works.
Great. Step 1, start with safety. This is about countering that natural tension of a money talk by actively disarming the nervous system within the first 30 seconds.
So you can't start with a fact or a criticism. It has to be a statement about the relationship itself.
Yes, a deliberate, non-negotiable safety statement. Something like, I'd love for us to feel more like a team about money so we can stop worrying. Or this isn't about blaming you. I want us both to feel safe.
You're establishing that the goal is collaboration, not a fight.
Exactly. Then, once that safety net is there, you move to step 2. Share feelings, not accusations.
Using those I statements we talked about.
Yes, you're not attacking their character. You're just reporting on your own anxiety. You're inviting empathy. So instead of, you're terrible with money, you say,
I feel scared when I don't know what's going on with our accounts.
Precisely. Or, I feel anxious when the balance grows and we're not talking about it. It's vulnerable, it's honest, and it focuses on your experience.
And that vulnerability is what can disarm the other person. Okay, so after feelings, we get concrete with step 3. Share facts and goals.
Right. You anchor the conversation in non-emotional, verifiable reality. Then you immediately follow it up with a forward-looking aspiration.
So a fact would be, we have $5,000 in credit card debt.
A specific, unemotional data point. And then you immediately link it to a goal. My goal is to get this debt down to $3,000 by the end of the year.
That's a great shift. It turns an argument into a planning session.
It replaces the critique with a puzzle. How do we get there? It's about collaboration now.
Okay, and now for what you said is maybe the most crucial step, the one that makes it a real conversation.
Yes. Step 4, ask open questions. If you skip this, everything you just said was a lecture, not a discussion.
A unilateral speech.
Exactly. Open questions, invite your partner in, they validate their perspective, and they show that you actually respect their opinion.
And these can't be yes/no questions.
No, they have to be driven by curiosity. Questions like, how does this feel to you? Or what worries you about this?
Or is there something I'm not seeing from your side?
That's a great one. Or what do you think would be a realistic next step for us? You're explicitly asking them to co-own the solution.
It totally reframes the dynamic. You're partnering with them, not parenting them or prosecuting them.
You're a teammate facing an external problem. That's the goal.
Okay, this framework feels really solid. Let's put it to the test with a really high-stakes scenario. Let's say you discover a significant unexpected debt, maybe $6,000 on a credit card that was supposed to be at 0.
A very common and very explosive situation.
First, let's role-play the typical toxic version that causes so much damage.
Okay, the toxic version is all about shock, fear, and immediate blame. It starts in ambush mode, which we know is a disaster.
All right, I'll be the accuser. What is this? $6,000. Are you kidding me? You promised we were only using this for emergencies. You are so reckless.
Okay, and I'll be the defensive partner. Stop yelling. I knew you would react like this. It wasn't reckless, stuff came up. Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with money, I wouldn't feel so stressed out all the time.
And boom, total escalation. Nothing is solved, and now the person who racked up the debt is probably just going to hide it better next time.
Exactly. The nervous system has decided it's a life or death fight. Okay, now let's rewind and use the framework. We start by respecting the ground rules. No ambush.
So, step 1, safety and scheduling.
Right. I'd say something like, hey, I saw the credit card statement and the balance is a lot higher than I expected. I'm feeling pretty worried, but I'm not mad at you. Can we set aside 20 minutes after dinner to look at it together? I really want us to tackle this as a team.
Okay, so you've scheduled it. Now you sit down. Now we move to steps 2 and 3, feelings, facts, and goals. I'd lead with vulnerability. Okay, so the current balance is $6,000, and I feel really terrified when I see that number because my biggest fear is being trapped by high interest. My goal is for us to work on this together and bring it down.
That's so different. You've delivered the bad news, but it's wrapped in care and a forward-looking plan. How does the partner usually react to that?
Often with relief. Because they were expecting a fight. They might say, I'm so sorry, I feel really embarrassed, I tried to handle it, but some of it was just stress spending and I lost track.
That vulnerability is the opening. Now you move to step 4.
Active listening and open questions. You have to resist the urge to lecture. Instead, you validate. Thank you for being honest with me. I know that wasn't easy. I don't see you as irresponsible. I see you as someone who is overwhelmed. What worries you most about this debt right now?
That's powerful. But let's add a layer. What if the listener feels real, valid anger? Maybe this isn't the first time. It feels like a genuine breach of trust. That anger is absolutely valid, and it has to be acknowledged. But it needs to be channeled toward repair and setting a boundary, not just destruction.
So you're attacking the behavior and the lack of transparency, not the person.
Right. So instead of "you ruined us," you use a script that constructively uses that anger.
What would that sound like?
Something like, I feel incredibly angry and scared right now. Not just about the money, but because I felt completely in the dark. I care about our future. And for me to feel safe, I need us to have more transparency going forward. So what system can we put in place together so that we both feel secure?
Wow, so you use the anger to set a firm boundary, but then you immediately channel that energy back into a collaborative solution. You invite them to help build the system.
The framing is everything. The debt is the problem you attack. Your partner is the teammate you recruit to help you solve it.
Let's shift to another classic conflict, the saver versus the spender. This isn't always about huge debt, right? It's often that slow daily resentment over small, spontaneous purchases.
The takeout, the impulse buys, the subscriptions. The saver feels constantly anxious, and the spender feels constantly policed.
And the bad version of this conversation is all about attacking each other's identity.
For sure. So I'll be the saver. I saw 3 takeout charges this week. That's $150. You are completely sabotaging our savings goal.
And I'm the spender. I work 60 hours a week. I'm not going to live like a robot just so you can stare at a number in a bank. You don't care about actually enjoying life.
And just like that, it's an existential fight over present joy versus future security.
And both people feel completely unseen. The saver's anxiety is dismissed, and the spender's need for joy feels controlled.
Okay, now the calm version. We schedule the talk. Step 1, safety. Hey, can we check in about how we're both feeling about spending and saving? I really want us to understand each other better, not argue about who's right.
Then steps 2 and 3, feelings, facts, goals.
The saver goes first. I get really anxious when I see a lot of spontaneous purchases because it triggers my deep fear that we won't have enough for an emergency. My goal is to feel secure enough that I can relax.
Then the spender responds by articulating their need, not as a whim, but as a core value.
Right. The spender says, I hear that fear, and I want you to feel secure. But for me, if life is just bills and savings goals, I feel suffocated. Those little treats, eating out with friends, that's how I de-stress and feel like life is worthwhile. My goal is to find joy in the present without feeling guilty.
So they've perfectly defined the competing values, security versus joy. Now, step 4, finding the bridge.
This is the collaborative script. I absolutely don't want you to feel deprived, and I also need to stop carrying all this anxiety. Do you think there's a way we can make a plan that honors both my need for security and your need for joy?
That changes everything. It's not you versus me anymore. It's our needs versus the plan.
And the shared solution almost always involves creating a system. The most successful one is usually what we call the guilt-free fun money rule.
Okay, what's that?
You collaborate on a set amount, say $200 a month each, that goes into a separate individual account. And that money can be spent on anything, no questions asked, no judgment, no guilt.
So the spender gets their autonomy and joy.
And the saver gets certainty because they know that all the other funds are safe and accounted for. The spontaneous spending is now a planned part of the budget.
That's brilliant. It reduces the saver's anxiety because the unknown is now known.
Let's give some specific advice to each personality type who might be listening. For the saver, your anxiety is real, but recognize that you might be making your partner carry the weight of your fear. You have to allow for joy to be budgeted, otherwise resentment will build.
And for the spender, your desire for joy is valid, But true freedom often comes from discipline. So ask yourself, how can I organize my joy so it doesn't accidentally trigger my partner's deepest fears? Organizing joy doesn't eliminate it, it makes it sustainable. Now, this isn't just for romantic partners. Money drama happens everywhere. What about with roommates, friends, and family?
Oh, absolutely. And in those relationships, resentment builds to dangerous levels because people avoid the conflict. They're afraid of making it weird.
Let's start with roommates, the classic issues. Late rent, uneven bills, one person silently covering costs.
Which leads to this huge passive-aggressive blow-up months later. The script here has to be about fairness and systems, not about character.
So not, you're always late and irresponsible.
No. You say, hey, I wanted to chat about rent for a minute. When the payment is late, I end up having to cover it, and that stresses me out. What system do you think would help us both stay on track? Maybe an automatic reminder or something.
That takes the shame out of it and makes it about a shared problem. Okay, what about friends? This is where people overspend because they're afraid of looking cheap or being left out.
Here you need the powerful protective sentence that separates the person from the price tag.
What is it?
It's, I really, really want to hang out with you, but that plan is just a bit out of my budget right now.
Yeah.
Is there any chance we could do something a little more affordable this week?
The key is leading with the affirmation, I really want to hang out.
Yes. It shows the relationship is the priority, and a healthy friendship will always respect that boundary.
Okay, the final and maybe toughest one, family. History, obligation, love, it's all tangled up.
It is. This is often about expectations of financial support. For requests you have to say no to, you have to lead with love, but set a firm boundary. The core phrase is, I love you, and I can't do that financially right now.
Simple but hard to say.
And if they push, you hold the line gently. I truly wish I could, but it would put me in a really unstable position. I hope you can understand I have to take care of my own basic needs. You're allowed to have a boundary that's based on your own survival.
Okay, so we have the framework, but what happens in the middle of a conversation when, despite your best efforts, someone gets triggered?
Yes, the flare-up. The biological response is always faster than the rational thought. Your heart starts racing, your chest gets tight.
You feel that flooding sensation.
That's your nervous system reacting to a perceived danger. Probably revisiting an old wound of shame or helplessness. You need an in-the-moment intervention toolkit.
This is for that moment right before you say the thing you can't take back. So, step 1.
Notice your signal. You have to learn your own physical tells. Is it a tight jaw? Clenching your fists? Your voice getting sharp? If you can recognize those early signs, you have a tiny window to intervene.
And once you notice it, step 2, name it out loud.
Yes. You reduce its power by naming it without blame. This communicates your internal state and shows you're taking responsibility for regulating it.
So you could say, I'm noticing my heart is racing and I'm starting to feel really overwhelmed right now.
Or, I can feel myself getting defensive and I don't want this to turn into a fight. Then immediately, step 3, ask for a regulated pause.
The timeout we talked about earlier.
Right. You request a time-bound break. I want to keep talking about this, but I need 10 minutes to calm down. Can we please come back to this at 8:15?
That time commitment is everything. It's first aid, not abandonment.
And finally, step 4, regulate. During the break. This break is not for rehearsing your next attack.
So what should you do?
The goal is physiological calm. Get up, walk around, do some slow, deep breathing. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Your job is to bring your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex, back online so you can return as your best self.
And if your partner is the one who calls the pause, how do you respond gracefully when you're feeling frustrated?
You respond with appreciation, even if you're annoyed. Okay, thank you for telling me you need a break. Let's pick this back up in 20 minutes. You're acknowledging that they are choosing regulation over eruption, which is an act of respect.
The ultimate goal here isn't just to survive crisis talks, right? It's to make money conversations normal.
Exactly. The goal is to make them so normal they lose their emotional charge. And you do that by creating a new rhythm, the proactive, consistent money check-in or money date.
You have to shift from emergency-only talks to consistent low-stakes planning.
You have to ritualize it. Schedule it for a time when you're not exhausted. Sunday morning with coffee, maybe. The vibe is everything. Make it gentle, make it feel safe.
And the agenda has to be simple.
Super simple, to avoid the junk drawer effect. Just 5 questions. What came in this month? What went out? Did anything surprise us? What's coming up next month?
And the most important one.
Is there one small thing we'd like to adjust?
And that focus on one small thing is the secret, isn't it? You're not trying to solve everything at once.
No. You're building a pattern of consistent, small successes. Maybe just cancel one subscription or move $50 extra to savings. Those small wins make you feel like an effective team.
And this is just as important for single listeners, right? Doing this check-in with yourself.
Absolutely. Treat your solo check-in with the same kindness. Look at the numbers without judgment. Journal your intentions. You're practicing both self-compassion and accountability at the same time.
We've covered all these tools and scripts. Now, to wrap up, let's take a moment to really internalize what this can feel like. If you're in a place where you can, I invite you to just close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a slow, settling breath in and let it go. One more deep breath, imagining you're filling your lungs with calm, and out.
That's right.
Now bring to mind the person and the specific money issue you need to address, and just notice that initial tightening, that familiar tension or fear in your chest. Acknowledge it. That's your old story.
Notice it.
Now imagine walking into that conversation feeling prepared and steady. Your voice is calm. You look at them and you use a safety statement. Say it in your mind. I care about us. I want us to be on the same team. And notice how that instantly softens something inside you.
You feel that shift.
Imagine sharing your feelings first. I feel anxious because, then a fact, then a collaborative goal. You are leading with a calm structure. Now imagine asking those open questions. How does this feel to you? What are you afraid of?
You're inviting them in.
Imagine them responding honestly, maybe sharing their own fear or embarrassment. And you just listen. You stay curious. Imagine the two of you choosing one small shared next step together. Not solving everything, just one thing.
One step.
And now notice the feeling that settles over you. The chest is lighter. There's a sense of hope. You chose collaboration over chaos. Take one more deep breath in, anchoring this feeling of competence, and out. And you can gently return to the room.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to please internalize these core truths. Truth 1. Money fights are almost never just about the dollars. They are about fear, shame, and power.
Truth 2. You are not bad at this. You were just never taught the tools. Now you have them.
Truth 3. You and your partner can absolutely be on the same team, even if your personalities are completely different. The problem isn't the personalities, it's the lack of a shared system.
Truth 4. These ground rules and simple scripts, they really work. They change the emotional temperature of your most stressful conversations.
And truth 5. Talking about money calmly is an act of responsibility. It's healthy, it's protective, and it's foundational to building a secure, lasting relationship with anyone.
We've covered so much today. We really hope you feel not just informed, but brave enough to try a new way forward this week. And if this deep dive resonated, please share it with someone you want to build a calmer financial rhythm with.
And finally, we want to leave you with one last thought to consider. If money is so deeply tied to our identity and our sense of control, what one small act of shared vulnerability, not just shared tracking, but shared vulnerability, can you take this week to start building trust instead of distance?
Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.